Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cosmic Crusade podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and I am very excited to be diving into another episode with you all. This is awesome. I can't wait. I hope you're excited because I know I am. Today, we're going to be talking about a few different topics. We're going to be talking about the Age of Aquarius, simulation theory, and modern day mysticism. I am very excited to dive in with this. So I hope you are all getting comfy. I hope you're all getting cozy. I hope you're ready to talk about everything from the mystic to the cryptic and all that wonderful weird stuff in between. Let's dive in. Okay, so I wanted to start this week off a little bit different. I want to start doing a little high-low water buffalo. If you don't know what it is, you're talking about a high point, a low point, something random that happened to you. We do this at work and it's so entertaining, and also I just feel like it's a really good way to check in and like keep everybody updated. Love it. Let's start with the low because we're getting the negativity out, okay? We don't need it any longer. It's not serving us. Goodbye. Everything you own and a box to the left. How about that? I got sick. I had a little cold, a little flu moment, and it was awful. I think my boyfriend gave it to me, so it was kind of one of those situations where it's like, you can't really do anything about it. You know, the person you live with is getting sick, you're also bound to get sick. Because I'm very much the type of person to where I am trying to be as mindful as I can when it comes to my physical form, and like I want to be in shape, I want to be healthy, I want to be consuming healthy things, I'm taking my vitamins and like trying to keep the illness away, but well, you know, I guess at that point it was just unavoidable. So that was really unfortunate. Feeling much better now. I was actually going to record an episode of the pod when I was in day one of my deathbed. So, you know, kind of threw a wrench in my plans, but I found more time, so this is beautiful. I would say water buffalo. Oh, my store closed last week. Moral of the story, we didn't have any water, so, you know, we couldn't really open the store, but I was just there for like a couple of hours. Really worked out well for me, I will say. A blessing in disguise for sure, because I was really not feeling like being at work and like I was in my deathbed, but I was trying to push through. And that was a blessing to not have to be there anyways. And then I think my high is got a little background going. I got to be a little artsy, a little craftsy, having a little fun and getting shit done. This was so beautiful. I think I really like what we got going on with it here. I just wanted to have like, I don't know, something that looks cool and fun. And also this is very me. This is very the Cosmic Crusade podcast. This is giving a Cosmic Crusade. Like, let's go on that journey, okay? So if you guys have any updates, please feel free to share and tell me everything in those comments below. I can't wait to hear about your life. But that aside, let's dive into talking about the Age of Aquarius, okay? So we are living in the Age of Aquarius. Now, when we're looking at astrology and we're talking about an age, that just means that it is the Earth's axis and where that is lined up in relation to like a constellation, right? So the Earth's axis in that rotation is currently aligned with Aquarius. It works backwards, so we're used to things in astrology going Aries, then to Pisces, but now we're looking Pisces all the way through to Aries. So that means that the last astrological age would have been Pisces, and now we're in the Age of Aquarius. And this age is kind of like a 2,000 or more year time frame that we're looking at here for the rotations to change throughout the constellations. Now, what that means, in like a broad sense, is everybody is generally, you know, this is a broad sense, but we're generally under the influence of Aquarian energy. You know, we're under the sign of Aquarius. We have that influence running through us. And what that means, like what those influences are, can be seen through like science, can be seen through technology, can be seen through like, you know, consciousness expansion. Aquarius energy is very independent, unique, rebellious, but it can also be rebellious in a positive sense, but it has been rebellious in a negative sense. But when I'm thinking of Aquarians being rebels, it's like, I'm not afraid to try this thing that like doesn't fit the status quo. You know, it's that type of energy. That's very Aquarius. And so with that, what we're looking at is the advancements that we really have been making. We're golden age of discovery, baby. I mean, we're looking back to like the Industrial Revolution and years ago to now, where we're existing with electric cars, self-driving cars, and things of that nature. I mean, it's really amazing to see all the advancements we've made, but not even just through like transportation, of course, but you have communication and entertainment. I mean, look, it's all, it's right here. It's on your phone. It's in our pockets. We have this little computer that we carry around that helps us to stay connected to the world. You know, that's really astounding to think about as well. But there's also the humanitarianism side of Aquarius, where we're fighting for equality, freedom, and everybody having their rights. And, you know, if you look at it through the lens of the age of Aquarius and like the lifetime that we have lived and the history that we have been taught, there have been so many advancements through the humanitarian lens as well. It's really amazing. So obviously I'm a fan of living in the age of Aquarius over here, but as an Aquarius, how could I not be? You know, it's just like living in your sign's time is, through my experience, which is the only thing I can speak to, wonderful. It feels kind of like my energy expressed through the world, and like the energy that I resonate with being expressed through the collective, just like the general of humanity, you know? Wide statement, broad statement most of the time. Of course, there are exceptions one way, there are exceptions the other way, but, you know, overall, I think it's really cool because it feels that within this age, there's a sort of commitment to the advancement of connection and social interaction. You know, we've really seen that a lot personally through my life, because when I'm thinking of social interaction as a kid, it's like I'm going out and I'm seeing these people and we're playing whatever, but like now as an adult and with the advancement of society and technology and social medias of it all, it's very, I can be connected to so many people in so many different places in an instant, you know? It's crazy how fast and like how much everything changed when it comes to these types of advancements. So that's very Aquarian energy, and I, as an Aquarius living within this time, am so happy living this experience, because technology is like a very personal interest of mine. I am very intrigued by technology and I love it. Like, it's so interesting to see the limits being pushed of like what we can do. I mean, even coming out with like the original smartphone versus now where we have like AI that you can literally just talk to your phone and like make something happen, you know? Like the other day I was in the kitchen cooking and I was like praying to Siri, like, Siri, I need you to open up a YouTube video and tell me how to dice this onion or whatever I was trying to look up. And it just happened, you know? Like, I didn't expect that to happen that way, but the technology, it's so smart. Very smart technology we have nowadays. But it's crazy to see, and I think there's a collective energy of caring for people and like wanting to kind of have everybody be on the same level, you know, of like needs being met and like we're cared for as like human beings. Like, definitely I resonate with the humanitarianism side of things as well, and I really appreciate that energy being like kind of pulsed through the collective. That's probably my favorite part about living in the age of Aquarius as an Aquarius. It's just very much a sense of being at home, living in your sign's age. It's very, the outer world is reflecting the inner world, if that makes sense. So, you know, I enjoy it. I'd do it again. Maybe in some other life. So, talking about all those technological advancements, let's ponder the question of, are we living in a simulation? Because let's talk about the simulation theory, okay? This is a theory that states that we exist in a digital world, and as opposed to being real, tangible human beings, we are coded entities existing in the predetermined digital world. Now, some philosophers believe that the future will invent a sort of supercomputer, and by that they mean a computer that is capable of embedding artificial intelligence into simulated beings, right? So that would kind of be the way that we exist in our world. But I mean, how does any of that really work? So some people themselves are like real and organic, but it's the world around that is the simulation, right? So that's like most of the simulation being put into other like NPCs, right? You hear people talking about NPCs like, we don't really believe that you're a real person, you're a non-player character. Like, you have no real life to you, you're just filling in the void, you know? And think of it like, you go to a grocery store, you know, I would say 9.9 times out of 10, you're going to expect to run into a number of other people and encounter a number of other people in a grocery store. So the idea there is that it's not all real people, right? Like, some of those people are a part of the simulation, and we're living in a simulation that's just like filling in the void with these people. So it would take us tricking our consciousness into believing that we were in true reality, right? And for that type of thing to even be able to have the possibility of being achieved, we have to do something like advanced virtual reality, or we have to have the use of technology that will take the communication pathways in your brain and take those brain waves and connect it to an external output, right? So there would have to be some type of technology to take your brain waves and have it filtered through some external output. And in addition to that, there would have to be like these realistic visuals, right? And there would have to be realistic stimuli to like your scent and like how you feel and what you're hearing, like things of that nature would have to be very realistically simulated. But that is like the type of thing that it would take to be able to achieve that sort of simulated reality. And so I would not necessarily say that I personally believe that the existence I'm experiencing right now is simulated. Like I was just talking about with all the advancements of the technology, I fear that we've seen it, you know, like we've seen technology be technology, and we've seen technology grow up in a sense, you know? So I don't really think that we're at that point where your consciousness is getting tricked into thinking that a simulated reality is your true reality. It just doesn't really feel like we're there yet. I mean, I definitely think this is something that could be happening and could very well be happening in the near future, for all we know. I mean, with the rate of how everything has progressed, you can only imagine how it will continue to progress down the line and in the future. So I think it's something that is like very plausible, and I love playing with the idea of it. But as in like the right now, I don't think this is a simulation, babes. But I do love the theory. I love the theory. And that's something I'm going to continue to talk about too. In further episodes of the podcast, I'm going to continue to be exploring conspiracy theories because I love the weird thoughts and like, you know, the reasoning behind it. Like, it's very much plausible and I could see the simulation existing, you know? So I love getting into the lore of it all. But let's go ahead and dive in to even more dealing with technology, the digital age of modern mysticism. And so with that, we're going to be talking about digital mysticism, right? And modern mysticism has took quite a turn to the digital world, you know, following suit with many other things. And when we're looking at the modern mysticism through the digital lens, we're thinking of things like, you know, you're scrolling through TikTok and you have your spiritual TikTok girly saying, 444, blessings, peace, and love. Tap that like button and comment and follow and share to tap in and claim this energy, you know? So we're talking about like the mass spread communications and like how quickly we're sharing these things and learning these things and taking that through the lens of like shared secrets and like sacred rituals and, you know, things of that nature that were kind of like on the low before. You know, it was maybe written about in books if you were lucky, but a lot of things and spiritual practices that people will openly share on the internet nowadays were very closed practices before. And even linking back to the conspiracy theory and talking about like virtual reality, we can see through virtual reality that you have this sort of belief that is being birthed of, as I think so it is. You know, what you're imagining and what you're envisioning is becoming your reality of sorts, you know, because you have this virtual world that is simulated to you that, you know, these graphics are looking very realistic and you feel like you're hiking up a mountain and you hear your footsteps and, you know, you're seeing the wind blowing and you have these very detailed aspects of the virtual simulation that's like, okay, wow, yes, I felt like I wanted to go climb a mountain today, so I put on my headset. Which is crazy to think about. Which is crazy that that's a thing that can like happen nowadays. Like, I want to go drive this expensive car. Lock in. Like, what? What? I mean, I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong. I have done VR and I love. It's fun. But it's just crazy to think about that that's a possibility now. And with modern technology, we can see it advancing in the direction of it gets better and better and better and better at reflecting our own desires back to us. You know your phone is listening, okay? If you don't know your phone's listening at this point, sorry to break it to you, your phone is listening. The amount of times I've had just a random conversation with somebody and I'm texting them or they're texting me and being like, okay, so you know that milk that you were talking about? Well, I just got an advertisement for it. You know that pop you were talking about? I just got an advertisement. Girl, you know how we were just talking about going to McDonald's? Got an advertisement for it. Like, the technology that we surround ourselves with is very intelligent to adapt itself to us and to reflect our own desires back to us and help us achieve that. And you know, that is a lot of the idealism behind the modern mysticism and leveraging tools like technology to help us manifest our desired reality and to bring us more so in alignment with our reality that we would more prefer. And I mean, like, even more so within the modern age, we have like digital tarot readings, we have like CoStar, these astrology apps, and all of this information that will connect us in real time to people and practices from all over the world. And that is something that we just have not been able to experience previously, like with our prior forms of communication. And it's really that simple nowadays. Like, it is just as simple as download the app and you're good. Download the app and you are locked in, sweetie. And I mean, we have seen a boom in influencers sharing all kinds of videos and media of like the mysticism and their practices. And I mean, like, Exhibit A, like, here we are talking about it. You know, we're seeing much more of this in the modern world. So I think that's very much so leading to the popularization of it all. It's very fast, it's very expansive, and it's very cool to like dive into those types of things, you know, because everybody wants to know about themselves and everybody has that sort of innate curiosity for the self-reflection. So I think that's where a lot of, specifically when we're talking about the tarot and we're talking about the astrology apps, I think that's where we're diving into the interest being piqued on that level of things. We're very eager to learn more about ourselves and have more things that we can relate to and more things that we can align with, you know? At least that's how I feel. At least it feels like it's fun for me. So of course, with everything, modern day mysticism is going to have some challenges. I think we could look at it in the sense of pondering if we're over commercializing in a way where, like, you know, we're commodifying mysticism in a way that would diminish the value. Another thing that I would consider would be misinformation, because, you know, I always say when it comes to anything for me in spirituality, it's take what resonates and leave what does not. I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times because that's just how it is, you know? How do we know that the information that we are receiving through these channels, through these means, are like accurate information? You know, how do we know that these are effective tools and effective practices? For me personally, in my practice, it's a lot of trial and error, but, you know, that's just a challenge when we're thinking of mysticism in the modern day and the modern age because of how quickly we can communicate now. So yeah, I mean, in my book, take everything with a grain of salt, and if it's something that you're interested in, then do some research. I mean, that's really how I got into astrology as a whole, was just researching it. And then, you know, in my book, I take the general consensus and like the stereotypes of the signs, but then like I apply my own personal experience to it as well. You know, like, I don't know, Aquarius is weird, right? That's a thing. Aquarians are weird. But then I'll think of that trait that that sign has, and then every Aquarius that I'm interacting with, I'm saying, are you weird? Are you weird? Are you weird? How? How are you weird? In what ways are you weird? What does weird look like filtered through the Aquarius lens? You know, that's like my approach to that specifically. And that's kind of how I go about these types of things. Yeah, so I think when we're considering how we can interact with mysticism and spiritualism in line with being like respectful on the internet, you know, just in meaningful ways, I think we want to be open and respectful. You know, this is like the topic of sharing ideas. You know, somebody's going to have a different opinion than you, and you're probably going to have a different opinion than somebody else. You know, that's just life. That's the wonderful way of existing in this planet. But just being respectful, like basic human respect, and staying grounded, you know, keeping the balance from the internet and real world. Touch grass. Moral of the story, touch grass. But, you know, just engage critically and, you know, kind of approach it with a discerning eye. And I think it's a lot better if you find community. You know, the internet is, of course, a great resource for those types of things. And, of course, you can reach a multitude of different people in different groups very easily. You can find them on any social media platform at this rate. But, you know, finding your tribe and existing within them it fosters a kind of learning environment, and a lot of people with similar interests will be more than happy to engage and speak with you on those topics. So I think that's how we're looking at modern day mysticism, but I love it. It's so cool. It is so cool to think that like these things that you're just scrolling through TikTok and you're seeing the videos of these practitioners doing their thing, it would have been like, no, years ago. It would have been shunned, shamed, hung, stoned, dead. Crazy. But for me personally, I love seeing it, and I love hearing like all about the different experiences and the different practices that people are going through. Right now, I think I'm very into Reiki, and I'm learning about Reiki, and I'm trying to get a Reiki session. I'm trying to experience Reiki because that just seems like that would be something fun to do. Like that would be something that I would take joy in doing, like channeling the energy like that. So cool, so fun. I want to be there, so I'm not the only one not experiencing that. So yeah, to end us off here, I am pulling a card from my Golden Mantras deck and see what kind of mantra we have. These cards are beautiful, by the way. Like, they're gorge, and I love. Let's see what we got. Oh. Let it go, let it flow. The energy with that one is very water off a duck's back, okay? Is that your shit to carry? Don't hold on to other people's problems. Don't hold on to other people's emotions. Don't hold on to other people's struggles. Do you, boo. Take a deep breath, and you'll get through it. Thanks for watching the second episode of the Cosmic Crusade podcast. This has been an absolute blast. I am so excited to get started to work on the third episode, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love.